Welcome back to the BUSR, but we're on a Friday? Yes, that's right. We're here on a Friday today as England played against Argentina on the Wednesday.
Why would you say it? Why would you say it?
Lost. So instead, we've moved the race to today so that the drivers can actually race and watch the match, being a British ran league. But today, I'm ran by Meet the Teacher. How you doing?
Hello, I'm all good, Kieran. I'm having a swell time. I'm quite excited. It's second time round. For some reason, I'm here instead of Raul, which is quite entertaining. But to be honest, it's going to be a good one, I think. We got, I think, 5 drivers in so far. There might be more. We never know. What do you think, Kieran?
I hope there's more than 5. That's how many we had last week. And, yeah. GT, what are you doing? You used to always have show up last season, bro.
Yeah, we're still waiting on like a few drivers here. I mean, I said it to Raul last race. I really wanted Luke Sawyer back, mostly because of Oren Lally. I'm not sure. I think you were commentating that race. So the last race you commentated, Kieran, Oren Lally lagged out in his peak career moment against Luke Sawyer at Spa. And I think he needs redemption. I think he has to do it because I think Luke wants the Triple Crown. But at the moment, I think Harris, which is Willow, is leading. I might be right in thinking that. I'm unsure.
Partly because Luke Sawyer ain't here, bro. Like, show up.
Yeah, definitely. It's a matter of just showing up.
The biggest championship of all time here. Like, I suppose it needs to focus on the IFA too, because especially in AC, ain't really in that title fight at the moment.
He is a real life racing driver. Let's just add that to the calendar real quick.
Still got absolutely destroyed when we had the karting race.
Yeah, the children really enjoyed lapping Luke at commentary. But either way, I think today's going to be quite an interesting one. We've got a nice split mixture from what I can see in the lobby so far. Again, there might be more of LMP2 and GT3. I would like to see a wild play like we saw with John last week, where he predicted the weather so well he, in fact, overtook an LMP2 in a GT3, which you don't see often. But yeah, it'll be quite interesting.
It's happened to help that, but yeah. AK, that driver getting into a bunch of issues.
Yeah.
And they're here again this week, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, definitely. I can see John is in the lobby, Hayden Baxter, Enzo, and Daniel Harris, all practicing right now, doing okay. We got a little bit of just little laps going in, trying to get the setup sorted. Some even chilling in the pit lane, which tells me, for example, Hayden is pretty much done and dusted, is ready to go whenever. But we got about 8 minutes, Kieran. So tell me about other things going on in the BUSR while we wait on these guys to get ready for quali.
Well, the championship I'm most invested in, because I don't play AC, which leaves only the F1 championship, is going down tomorrow night. We got yet another round where Chris's Pilacoris isn't dominating the championship, and that is so nice to say since I've started here, because every single season I've been here, Chris has destroyed the competition, or at least had a 2-horse race against Josh Woolley if Josh Woolley wants to stop bottling the F1 championship.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Wooly's been doing it, for at least 5 years, but we might actually see something different compared to last season, where Chrysis, like you said to me earlier, he was a dominant force in the last season. So hopefully we see a bit of a shake-up this season.
Hopefully. So, obviously last season it wasn't a case that there wasn't no competition, it's just some of the drivers didn't have the availability to show up within every single weekend. Ben Mills comes to mind. Willow, who's racing kid today, comes to mind as well. As 2 drivers who was really good competition towards Chris Pilacoris last season when they was available to race, which is the big deciding factor sometimes. It's only an 8-round championship with 2 drop rounds, and if you're just not there for more than those 2, you automatically are now losing out on points.
Yeah, there's that loss of momentum from some drivers when they're able to get into the game itself. But with Chrysis last season, I saw amazing stuff. I mean, at awards day, he won at least 5, I want to say, different awards just on F1 alone. But jumping into other things in the season, we got a Soho Corsa as well. And I know, Kieran, you've just had a go yourself, haven't you? It's your first time having a go at AC.
That game is fun.
It's really good. Coming from someone who's racing in that series, the cars are a bit interesting. I would say they're quite different compared to everything Yeah, a bit.
You want to give the rundown of what Josh Woolley has cooked?
Yeah, so we've got a GT86, which doesn't smell like a GT86 anymore. It's got a bit more power to it, pushing a little bit more levels where there's been times where the car has had differences with, let's say, H patterns and sequential shifting, which now it's all fixed, but the car does still slide under any throttle if you're turned in even the slightest bit more. Reminds you a little bit reminiscent of the older F1 titles, but it's got a little more forward grip. So you're kind of scrapping the car almost out of corners sometimes if you're trying to go quicker. But it's been pretty decent for slipstream. Josh Woolley has modified the car so much that the slipstream on it is actually insane. So last week, me and Rao got a 1-2 on the rebound, and that was down to the fact that we were just slipstreaming each other the entire way through. So the cars are just insanely diff. But I assume something similar is happening in F1, isn't it, Kieran?
Well, I mean, in F1, slipstream, for some reason, in this year's game and last year's game, because it's the same engine, just, you hit about 8 temps, you have slipstream. It doesn't build, doesn't get any stronger. Nope. It's an on and off switch for some reason, and I don't know why. So, creates really weird situations, and there's a lot of yo-yoing with this current generation of cars.
Is that because of the battery?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it's not
unfortunately.
It's not a bad thing, is it? But it's also not a fun thing. But I mean, at least with LMU,
to say it's down to the drivers, but
but with LMU,
they're cheap to crash into each other more so than actually race. So.
I mean, we'll give them a little bit of credit here. There's times where that happens. I'll hold my hand up. I've done it for 6 seasons. But I don't know. With LMU, we might see something different here today between Willow and mostly John B in the GT3, from what I'm aware of the spreadsheet. I may be wrong. Do not quote me. But otherwise, Kieran, should we have a little bit of a spicy look at what practice was like?
Sure, I suppose we can. But there is one more thing to mention about AC, which you've drastically missed. It's a multi-set-out championship. So unlike F1, which is you drive, yippee, AC is split under teams, drivers, and the drivers are split alumni, current students, and external people as well. Do you want to go through how that changes it up a little bit?
I mean, yeah, definitely. But first, can I call you out on how you say alumni? Alumni? That's a new one. But no, but I'm going to call it alumni now. That's great. So let's say you're in the alumni cast. Essentially, you've left the university, but you still represent your prior university. And so in that case, there's a smaller pack in that instance, because a lot of our drivers are actually current students or racing what we call open class. And open class is anyone and everyone. So we're actually very inclusive in that factor, try and make sure that everyone is involved, no matter if you go to university and no matter if you don't do college or education. We're trying to just get anyone in an age bracket of, I want to say, 18 and above racing in BUSR as well. So we separate the cup out. It changes the championship quite a bit. It means some of you can win student champs, some of you can win alumni, some of you can win open, and you can win overall and team. Assetto Corsa is also team-based. I have a team, job well done. There's quite a few. There's Bensky, and I always find Bensky quite funny because they're known for overtaking myself. But otherwise, it changes the championship up quite a bit because there's multiple championships you can win in constructing.
And there's the super power duo, I forget which country they're from, but they kind of just destroyed the championship last year, from what I remember.
Yeah, Bensky, yeah. Just absolute craziness. No, it weren't Bensky. What am I saying? It's Jordan and Stoyanov. I forget what they were. Hungarian drivers, not UK-based, but brilliant drivers nevertheless, and they've done amazing in the previous seasons. Hopefully they can see a redemption arc in AC, but we'll see what happens.
Well, with the race coming up shortly, qualifying will be a format which is a little bit cooked, I can't lie, but it's the best way we can make it work. The GTs will be out on track first, using up the first half of the session, and then we'll switch over to the LMP2 cars, who will head out onto track and do their session, as the GTs will either return to the pit lane prior to the time running out, or just simply RTG if they're still out on track.
I hope you didn't hear me getting water, but yeah, what Kieran just said there. So how's about we hop straight into this then, Kieran?
Well, if you're going to transition it, then that would be sick.
Oh, well, yeah. Don't do me like that. Oh, my lord. So these guys should be out now, pretty much getting just their last 30 seconds of practice in, and then they'll be hopping straight into qualifying. So what are you expecting to see here today, Kieran?
Mount Fuji in the background. We are out at Fuji Raceway, one of my favourite tracks in the entire world, and a track that I think personally would much better fit, especially just current generation of F1 cars. And I have been flamed for that opinion, but I think this is just a better track for racing. And with the new F1 cars with the regen, it's not much better, but at least we're not having to lift or anything for 130R and it being a boring corner now.
Definitely. I mean, with 130R, you're right, it can be boring in some instances, but Fuji, I've seen it firsthand, especially LMU players, so if you are an LMU player watching from home, is just an iconic track for anyone starting out and for anyone getting into it and understanding a technical track. To be honest though, my knowledge of Fuji is very limited. Kieran's going to beat me on this one. So on that note, I'm going to go and have a look at the weather and the forecast for this so far. So looking at qualifying, it should be pretty sunny, no issues whatsoever for anyone on track. As we're talking through this though, however, the race might beg to differ. Any idea on who's going to beat who in this quali, Kieran? Any guesses?
I think Harry's is going to beat in LMP2, and from what I know, Binder will beat in GT, but I haven't. Well, this season has been a bit weird in terms of numbers, in terms of the GTs being quicker than LMP2s. Yeah, it's been a little bit weird with so few drivers this season. Last season had a bit of a better turnout in the GT category, but I can't say the same for the hypercar category. Obviously today, moving to the Friday, will change it up a little bit. Maybe we can't get everyone in, especially on such short notice. But at least we've got 4 drivers here, and we can already see that Baxter has decided to empty out his energy, whereas Binder has set himself with a full set of energy.
Yeah, my assumptions there is Baxter's probably running some sort of automation there, just kind of trusting that the car will do it himself, and when he comes back around, it'll be fine. Whereas John, I know from experience, John really likes its technical knowledge, and has probably got energy mapped on a gear, a slider, or anything on his wheel, just to manage it the best he can. But you never know. We'll see in a minute when John goes onto his hot lap, which I'm noticing the LMP2s aren't really bothering no one. They haven't come out of pits or anything. So we should have a nice smooth lap coming up in a second for all of you.
Well, they're not out on track because they're not allowed to be.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that bit.
Yeah, no, the GTs only get the first 10 minutes and then the LMP2s get the last 10.
Ah, well, there we go. We get a nice little split for everyone in the audience then.
Yeah. When we had the hypercars and the GTs, and we had a lot of GTs, as we see a huge tank slapper coming out of Binder and the McLaren. One of the most stable cars in LMU on most occasions. Obviously not necessarily always been the case. You could set up the change the setup, which might completely change the handling model of the car at that point as well. Having hypercars on the same track in qualifying as 10, 11 GTs is just an absolute mess. So we put in that rule. Obviously when there's only 4 cars, it changes it up a little bit, but weaving down the straight, to get the tyres warmed up, you never normally set your fastest lap on your first lap. In LMU, the tyres not having any blankets by default and coming out the completely stone cold does mean you have to spend some time to warm them up, as we see a little bit wide on the apex coming out from Binder. You do want to get a lot tighter to that corner on an actual flying lap, but we can still see that Binder right now is trying to warm up those tyres just a little bit further, not comfortable with how much grip they're supplying at the moment. But then we get one of my favourite corners in LMU, this long, sweeping right-hander double apex where you hit it earlier, then you come back into the same corner once again, get back over to the right hand side, chuck it in, hope the front end actually gets some rotation as you're trailing off the brake, run it out wide as you don't want to use the corner too tightly as it just completely gets you destroyed on this exit because you're trying to compound that speed down this hill. And we do use the chicane version of the track here as you tighten it in. It gets very tight going back onto yourself just very quickly before going left. Very hard to defend any kind of dives through this variation of the circuit. As we then climb back up the hill, we go right. Ooh. And then we don't spin it left. Great car control coming out of Binder, and we crest it out wide and huck it back in, seeing Mount Fuji in the background. The best track for any kind of view in the background. Then you try and use the camber of the corner before it bites away at you. Use all the exit curve as you can before the game gives you a penalty, and you run it all the way to the line, trying to get as much exit speed as you can. But this lap was very much clearly a warm-up lap from John Binder.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the statistics here, if we hop straight back to Baxter real quick, who's coming in for his lap, he's actually beat John by quite a bit there, coming down with a 142.2 comparative to a 144. But again, John is going for another hot lap. I could see him getting the timing tables up and running, trying to beat Baxter in Sector 1. So we'll see where this plays out. To be honest, it was just a clean-cut lap for John, and I think he's just trying to feel it all out before hitting his fastest lap while the track heats up. But he's only got 5 minutes to do so, so it's going to be quite dense, but hopefully we'll see John fight it through. But Baxter's running quite low energy. I don't know if I could show what the energy is at the current moment. There we go. John isn't pushing, so there might be a lot more time for John, especially with that energy in mind. He purposely didn't use it that lap, so I think he's heating up for another one. So, Kieran, if you'd like to take another play-by-play, that would be great.
Just to check, you know what the energy part means, right?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is John's not pushed it.
The energy system here is a representation of basically fuel, but not quite. Obviously, we're not running hypercars, so it's always a little bit strange. And it always gets a bit funky with the LMP3s and LMP2s because they don't actually have energy in real life, because they don't run in the WEC since they brought out this feature. But basically, because of the energy stores in the hypercars, they have this virtual energy tank that runs along the side of the fuel tank to make sure that every car has equal performance, because all of the hypercars don't have necessarily equal performance coming out of the energy system. It is balanced out through balance of performance through the energy system, which may limit how far they go or how much they have to save, as we see an improvement by 2 seconds by Baxter going even faster than before. But it just means that it equals out the playing field just a little bit more. The same system still applies to the GT3s. They still used it on the GT3 cars to help with that balanced performance, where they can tick away just a little bit of, they can force them to take a longer pit stop because they need to fuel up more energy, or they use a little bit more, so they have to lift and coast a little bit more for the virtual energy. It's just to help with the balanced performance across the category without always just taking away speed from the cars, which just helps these drivers be able to still get good feeling cars underneath them, even in situations where they might be in the fastest car being heavily homologated backwards. But as we ride on board with Baxter, we see John Binder in the distance, roughly within a line of sight, close enough to at least have a target in mind. Having a target in mind can be very good as we get choppy as all hell on the steering wheel from Baxter. Still got 3 minutes to go, up 1/10 from that first sector, and still able to keep that middle sector alive. Going into this final sector, it's all going to be tight and twisty, but we need to get the steering a lot smoother through the back end here so we can set up these exits just a little bit better. But really having to fight the car is the Aston Martin driver in the 56. As we round out the final corner, it's going to be a decently planted exit on throttle quite early on, but is the run going to be strong enough to utilize that improvement in Sector 1?
I mean, yeah, it's looked like a really clean lap there from Baxter. Very much just beating John in each sector he goes in. which is kind of unfortunate for John because he'll want that lead coming out of this. But with only 2 cars, to be honest, it may actually help John not to take too much of a risky play here and just basically get through to the end of quali, beat Baxter on the start if he can, and then try to catch a gap in the race. But again, John is fighting here for the GT3 section championship, whereas Baxter, I don't actually know where Baxter stands, but I don't think it's too far off John, so I think Baxter will really want this win, whatever it takes.
Baxter trying to catch up in the championship, I think, because of drop rounds. But at the moment, there's 1 lap of, for sure, I'm not sure if they'll get this next lap, but 3.5 attempts coming out of John Bender in that first sector, finding a little bit more time, hopefully finding a lot more grip, a lot more planted through this corner, going completely full on the axis of the steering wheel, trying to get it through that left, but losing 2.5 attempts, only up 1 attempt coming into the final sector, is going to have to really piece it together to gain some time back. But being 2 seconds down, that's nearly impossible for this last sector. Yes, it's tight and twisty. Yes, there's a lot of cornering to do, but so hard here to find some time, especially when you're gliding so far wide of the apex. We see the Aston Martin closing in the background as well, trying just to keep the car going in a straight line with as much momentum as possible, as Binder does cross the line in just a moment's time, as it's so far down the straight. But it's not quite the improvement needed as Baxter comes into the pit lane to prepare for the LMP2s.
Yeah, I do believe John may have 1 last lap left in him. However, judging from that T1, he may take a big risk here by taking this final lap. When it comes to sector times, Baxter has just very much shown John the wall, essentially. Beating John in sector 1 with 2 seconds, beating John basically overall by at least a second and 1.9 seconds. John has caved that lap, however, so I do think it's now time for the LMP2s.
How much time in 1 sector?
It looked like 2 seconds, and then John gained it back. So yeah, very unfortunate for John.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Not able to hug up in 1 sector. You need to have a full lap on log to be able to get pole, and that is clearly the case for Baxter.
Yeah, definitely. Baxter's just kept it consistent throughout, and again, has shown very much a bigger push. But going into the LMP2s now, they're going to just try to warm up the car, get it nice and ready. Harris hasn't came out, which is quite interesting. As only just now, came out. I'm guessing just to build a big enough gap away from Enzo here. What do you think's going to happen with these LMP2s, Kieran?
From last time out, Willow Harries was able to clearly pull away from Enzo from what I caught last time, so potentially different track though, potentially throwing up some different conditions, but it's all going to be up to what the drivers can perform on the day. You're never always going to have the exact same level of performance, especially if you're changing the track like we have this time out, as the map still shows a green car on track. That is definitely not there. That car is not there. It's just the LMP2s on the hot laps now in the second half of this session. They've got 9 minutes left as Enzo's trying to round out the backside. They won't be able to get that many laps, but being a bit quicker, they might be able to squeak in just 1 extra lap.
Yeah, as we see the track map go away, I think it's just a bit bugged from the stopping of John. But again, like you said, they're just going to be leading up to that lap. So now it's just a matter of getting the heat into the tyres and getting ready to do a few push laps with about 8 minutes left in this qualifying. So let's have a look at how Enzo does here. They're coming down the start-finish straight, approaching T1. From what I've seen so far this season, because it's quite a far away from T1, Enzo's done pretty brilliantly to keep up with Willow/Harris in this series, and hopefully we'll try to beat Willow out today. Braking around the 100 board, getting it tight, turning very deep, big turning circle, trying to open that steering up, coming out the corner, pretty good exit, but still off angle a little bit here. Coming down into the left-hand crest here, braking at the 50, trying to just flick it in. Little too much steering lock, but the car is probably set up for a little more lock than usual. Just trying to hug it round that bend, letting go of the throttle, rolling it through, and as... Oh, no, never mind. I tell a lie. Has made the corner. It looked like they did for a moment. And hooks it to the left. Oh, we're having some lag, I believe.
Yeah, disconnectivity compared to what Enzo is actually driving, I think, causing a little bit of discrepancy of where they are on the track compared to what they're actually driving. So we'll switch over to Harry's, who is a much cleaner view to watch, as we see the speed building down the hill way quicker than what you see in the Aston Martin and the McLaren of Binder and Baxter, hitting the apex, getting it turned in, very confident on the steering wheel, letting the car bite into the corner very early on, and then trying to round it out, but getting a flick on and a nice catch as well. 2 clean sectors so far coming out, and just 1 more to go, but leaving a little bit of space to the apex on that corner does leave room for improvement. And this time, nicely tucking onto that apex, getting a nice flushed finish to the line, which means we're straightening up towards the line. Enzo will set a 1:35 benchmark, but it's almost certainly Harry's is going to find an improvement down to a 1:34.1.
Crazy. From what I can see there, it did look like Enzo got his sector 1 time basically knocked out of him from Harris here going into his second lap round. With the best times as well, it was actually pretty close, all things considered. It was just that sector 1 just for Enzo. So as long as Enzo can actually find some time within sector 1, which it looks like they have, it will be pretty good pickings for Enzo here. Hopefully we won't see too much lag move, but he has gained that second in sector 1. However, has lost it already to Harris, losing another 600ths to Harris here in sector 1. So they've got to find the time here in sector 2. Looking very smooth coming through the the right and left. And turning now. Hopefully this is where they'll try to hold it together. Coming round, try to hug the apex as much as they can, getting a steep turn in to try to exit this corner as wide as possible for the next corner, coming to the right, hooking it, almost touching the curb, coming out straight. Let's see where they finish on this lap, shall we? Did pretty good within sector 2 as well, beat their own time by 300ths. Hopefully we'll see a little bit closer to Harris here with this lap. And we see them beat Harris with a 1:33.79.
And that was time left through the chicane as well, very wide on that first apex. So nice little bit of improvement here, but Harry is trying to find the response and does. Pips Enzo just by a little margin. I don't exactly know what margin that was off the top of my head, and it would be lovely to see if my commentator can find it. It does seem to be about 1 second and a tenth.
Yeah, it's pretty much around 1 second and a tenth. It's quite a deep gap to find. It does feel like every time Enzo finds a gap, all of a sudden the gap isn't then found for Harris, who just builds that gap back up again. So this is a very much cat fight dog situation where they've only got about 4 minutes now to beat each other. And Harris is just taking advantage of all the track evolution they can as well. Obviously running behind Enzo as well, trying to just keep their gap, but also still hit the laps as quick as possible in case Enzo does find something a bit special here in this lap.
Yeah, currently Enzo having to find a good margin of lap time, and with a clearly improved lap time with the extra tire heat for that second lap, it's going to be hard, especially with these tires. The LMP2s tend to find that the tires fall away after about the 3rd or 4th lap in some of these qualifying sessions, so finding 8 tenths in the first sector is a huge improvement, and snipes Harry's once again trailing times. But does Harry's have the response to take back provisional pole position with 2 huge improvements through sector 2 and 3? But it doesn't seem to be quite enough by 2 tenths of a second.
Like I said, it's going to be that battle of who can find the last lap. They've got currently coming up to 3 minutes now, so this is going to be cutting it close. With this time gap, it's getting shorter and shorter, meaning Enzo is actually doing something right and is in the lead now with this gap. So hopefully Enzo can keep this up. We'll see what kind of happens here, but let's have a look at what they're doing in the cockpit, shall we? We should see how they're doing on the onboard, of course. So coming into this right-hander now, braking as late as possible, almost missing the apex, but hooking it in as tight as possible, just trying to get the car to turn in, of course. We're seeing a lot of downshifting, lower than what I would expect. First gear in some corners, just trying to get the engine revs as high as possible coming out of the corners, which I've noticed on the telemetry I've got to my left here, Kieran. Harris doesn't do that. Harris actually avoids dropping it that low and tries to smoothly exit the corner, whereas we're seeing a different tactic here from Enzo where they're just trying to over-rev out the corner, which this lap's looking okay so far. A little bit of a loss in the first sector of 200s. 900 gain, however, sector 3 is gonna be 500s gained, meaning that Enzo has taken that gap and made it even bigger. Looking at that gap so far, that's now nearly 300s difference, except from Harris answers back with a banging 133.74.
Oh, trading out these times and gets a 3/10 gap back over Enzo, forcing the response, even with an improvement in that final sector, now has to try and recorrect that first sector where they lost some of the time compared to their lap prior.
Definitely, and we're seeing a lot from Enzo here, pushing out as much as possible, only being literally half a thousandth of a second off pretty much in the first sector. Coming down here, hopefully we'll hit the next sector line and we'll get a semi-good idea of where Enzo is sitting. But this is looking good for both drivers, to be honest. If there was more LMP2s on track, I would say both of these guys would be P1 and P2 respectively. I believe this is coming around the final corner now. No, I've got the wrong part of the track. But pretty much looking very good, very smooth so far. Coming a little bit wide.
Wide.
Yeah, definitely.
Floaty.
Oh my
You never
lord.
know, really.
Yeah, commentator's curse, isn't it, really? Now we're at the final corner. Let's have a look, shall we?
Sector 2 did not flash up if that was an improvement or not, so we're currently a little bit in the blind, running to the line.
It looks
Will
like...
it be an improvement?
Huh? I think Enzo must have invalidated. It doesn't say so on my telemetry, however, Sector 1 is marked yellow due to it being slower.
Oh. We did see him go really wide, and
that's qualifying. Okay.
Everything's gone. Lovely.
I didn't expect that to be so abrupt, but yeah, brilliant qualifying. On my timing sheets here, we've got Harris Willow in first, then Enzo Teruoka, and then Hayden Baxter and John Binder to follow. What did you think of that, Kieran?
Way better LMP2 qualifying than I could have expected just from two cars alone, as we did see a fifth driver further in the LMP2s join in at the end as well. Hopefully, going to be within a pace margin to be interesting.
I believe the name is Borna Galovanzi. I may have butchered that. I apologize profusely. I believe they've raced one race with us so far, so this actually might be a throw in the bag for this person joining. But I'll tell you what, Kieran, should we go to our sponsor?
Grid Finder?
Yeah, Grid Finder! Right, we'll be back in a minute after this ad from Grid Finder.
Welcome back from the Grid Finder advert. Probably getting familiar with that now across having 3 series here at the BUSR. But we're also brought to you by Traction here at LMU. I'm pretty sure that is unique and distinctive to the LMU streams. But we're also brought to you by Simply Race as well here.
Yeah.
Also, can't forget NSC, National Student Esports, is where this series originated, part of the university tier of competition. It's definitely always interesting to see, though, how the grid fluctuates in size, and hopefully we can rebound with some bigger grids later this season.
Definitely. I mean, we're just rejoining the server now and just getting set up, of course. But in the meantime, talking about some of our sponsors and companies here, NSE. I remember doing that, 6 years ago when I first started uni. And one of the first games
Holy.
I think one of the first games I played in NSE was Rocket League, and that was peak, unironically, because back then the highest rank you get was like champ, and it wasn't even that great.
GC.
Was it GC? Okay, I wasn't that good then. But yeah, it was fun times. And to be honest, the BUSR has been kind of following that format for years, and I love how it does it, where you can kind of hop in, enjoy a match, come out, and still have fun either way. And plus, we're very analytical at the BUSR. I think a lot of drivers, especially the ones racing today, will find themselves looking back at this race and going, "Where could I have improved?" And I think that's a big part of esports, especially in the BUSR. Oh god, boiling.
Well, that's part of the fun of motorsport. If you can't enjoy the analytical side of it, you're missing out on a huge part of what really makes motorsport shine. And that is, there's so much more that goes into it than just a simple, oh, we go racing, because there's so much on the back end.
Definitely. I mean, sorry to interrupt you there, Kieran, but it looks like we're getting ready for our rolling start. With the LMP2s leading and John and Baxter. Oh, it looks like our boy Bonner, there we go, has joined in the LMP2 class. So this will make it quite interesting of a race if Bonner gets a really good start here. So let's have a look and see what happens in this formation lap, shall we? I'm going to put the forecast up while we do that.
Yeah, thank God we have the names on top of these two Pure X Racing liveried LMP2 cars leading the way over the Edex Sport car back behind. But as Enzo gets a hugely amazing start on the line, it's going to actually completely pull away from Harry's and actually get the nose ahead, but still forced on the outside line. Harry's is going to have the opportunity to keep it tight, but goes really deep, which is going to allow Enzo to come through with a switch back, and Harry's is going to get a horrendous front out and lose down to P3 as well. When we look back at the GTs, Baxter clearly keeps in the lead of Bender, and Enzo is going to start pulling away already, at least having that warm-up compared to the second LMP2 in line. Harry's has now got to get through that competition to catch back up to Enzo, who is their competition, who's actually at least warmed up to this track so far.
Definitely. We're seeing a massive shake-up here with Borna joining last minute in the LMP2 class, jumping straight up to P2, I might add, which is very impressive considering they're against Enzo and Harris, who very much is winning this championship, meaning they're going to score themselves some very nice points if they can make this last. The next goal is to get past Enzo, but at the current moment, Enzo is doing a little bit quicker than Borna. Ran a second quicker in Sector 1 due to the mistake that you saw at the start in T1, allowing Enzo to make a runaway. And at the current moment is leading very comfortably. Behind that, however, we're seeing Harris slowly but surely gain on Bono here. We're seeing it just kind of trying to get in there, but you can see Bono at the front just trying to break that toe to keep away. Or maybe heating up their tyres. Anyhow, should we have a look at the GT3, shall we?
Well, as you said that, you instantly cursed Harry's by them falling back out on the back end of the final corner. As we see Baxter already pulling a huge margin over Bender. Oh boy! Yeah. That is a large gap to pull in a single lap, by the way.
3-second gap. I mean, if we even look at the battle stats, I mean, that's just a crazy thing to see at the current moment. Let's see if we can get the battle stats to come on. That'd be great. Okay, I guess we're not getting the battle stats.
In LMP2, Enzo has pulled a 1.6 second lead over Bonner, which leaves Harry's and Bonner fighting for P2. Enzo's going to have to clock back in here, currently down 9 tenths of a second, not really in a pressuring point or pressuring range on that Edex Sport liveried LMP2 car. But going through this final sector, you can really gain some of that time back or lose a huge proportion too.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's just quite nice and close between these LMP2s. Bono gaining quite a bit of time on Enzo here. A little bit, but still not enough. Whereas Willow's kind of falling back a bit, almost losing 0.07 to a second in time to Burrow, which is going to make a huge difference here, as Burrow's going to try their gosh darn hardest to catch Enzo into T1, but it's going to be quite far to even consider a move at the moment. So it's just going to be a matter of cleaning up that lap and making it so consistent they can catch.
Had a slower lap overall, however, definitely had a way quicker back end of the sectors. We're now sub 1 seconds to Enzo, reeling them in, slowly warming up to the car, warming up the tires as well, finding more confidence and pulling massively away from Harry's, who's now dropping to 2 seconds back off of the 2 leaders. And we're seeing a huge charge of momentum go the way of this pink and black EDEX Sport LMP2, that if I do believe correctly, just random piece of knowledge, because, you know, I have the racing car figure in real life, was driven by Jamie Chadwick, Andre Lotterer, and Hubert or something. I don't know that name.
I can hear you in the distance trying to find it. As Burrow makes a switch back on Enzo, mind you, and goes for the move, tries to pincer them out with the rear, and gets ahead of Enzo as Enzo takes a wider apex to try to hook that switchback back on Burrow. But is it enough? We shall see. Coming into the start straight here, we've got Enzo trying to get that slipstream best they can. Will they make a move to the inside? Probably not, as Burrow defends the inside. Enzo trying their gosh darn best here to try to just find a gap they can take. Do they take the gap?
It is a massive straight.
Definitely.
Going into the braking zone, Enzo out braking, potentially running higher downforce though, but even because moving with the slipstream, not able to out drag that EDEX Sport car, but now pulls away on the exit of the corner as Enzo tried to do the switchback but just ran out of space. And all of this time fighting each other, trying to put on the defensive move, is just going to bring back in Harry's just a little bit, but we have no clue where Enzo's gone because they've lagged out on the distance and they're straight back into P2 because glitching means we have no clue where they actually are. But 6 temps now, and only 1 temp Harry's has been brought back into this fight once again.
Definitely. Judging from the sector times as well, Bora's just thrown in a massive sector 1, being a second quicker than Enzo, but not a second quicker than Harris, meaning Harris, like you said, has been brought back into this fight. And judging from their driving so far, just looking at how they're driving, cutting as much curb as possible, trying to hook it as tight as possible, with Enzo also making a little bit of a brake mistake there on the left rear, is really hoping to catch into the slipstream of Enzo. If they don't, however, this may be cut and throat. So we really do hope here that Harris can find some momentum and get into the slipstream. As we see, Enzo's just kind of chilling in the slipstream as well. So in the meantime, we'll have a quick dive at our boys at the back. We've got Baxter and John just having a very chill race. Baxter's pretty much set some pretty chill times, setting almost similar times to what he did in quali, whereas John's kind of lost a lot of time, coming up to 2 seconds extra on top of the 6 seconds that were gained at the start for Baxter. But either way, it's looking very good. Bora just setting the fastest lap there, very much doing a brilliant job keeping that lead. Looks like it was a 1:31.2. So brilliant stuff there from Borna. I feel bad. I need my glasses. I can't read the names on my screen. But yeah, how do you think he's doing, Kieran?
Well, considering no warm-up, jumps straight in and now leading the way by 1.8 seconds and extending that lead over Enzo corner by corner. Meanwhile, Harry's is fluctuating the gap towards Enzo now, back down in P number 3. Going to be interesting to see if Harry's can find a bit better form as in Spa. They definitely looked a little bit stronger than this.
Definitely. And with Harris as well, just looking again at the timing tables, slightly quicker than Enzo by 0.02 of a second, which over time will actually lead to Willow being in the slipstream of Enzo coming down the back straight, which I think we're kind of seeing here, to be honest, trying to just get a bit closer every lap. They are 0.09 of a second out from Enzo. Meanwhile, Borna's just set a 1:30, being a second quicker than both other LMP2 drivers, which is kind of insane considering how early this is. with Enzo making a bit of a weird move there coming into T1, allowing Willow to get close and comfortable. So we'll see how this plays out.
Now, obviously, there's also the energy factor, so potentially burning up some of that energy to get some of that lap time could be at play. If these two are lifting, coasting, it could extend a little bit later. We are on 2 times tyre wear, 2 times fuel burn rate as well, which creates this situation where in an hour and 15 or hour 20-minute race, we are finding 2 pit stops every single round. We did have that one race last season where a driver tried to do a one-stop and failed miserably. Ended up running out of fuel on the main straight about 10 minutes out. But it was impressive that they got that far, as Enzo gets caught up massively in only a couple of sequences of corners. Harry's now right on the back end and is going to have to try and tuck into the slipstream. But again, as we've seen with how long that straight is, and potentially with Enzo's setup running a little bit higher downforce, struggling to pull in the slipstream of the LMP2 ahead when they was the one benefiting from it, will Harry's be able to benefit even greater than Enzo from the slipstream? And we're only seeing it a little bit, catching up, but then we're hitting the middle range of the top end of these cars, and they just struggle to pull, and as Enzo pulls to the right, we completely lose track of where the cars are.
Okay. That's a new one. Has the lobby just gone? The stream's fine, everything else is fine. I think lobby may have just conked. Okay. Oh, we're back. Okay.
We're back.
That's new. Damn, we're going to pretend like we knew what action was there. Damn, Harris threw such a move on the inside and got switched back to hell. But either way, we're back. I have no clue what's just happened there. Apologies for the technical issues. But it does still look like Harris is on charge to chase down Enzo in any way, shape or form. Gaining on Enzo pretty much almost half a second a lap now. Jumping that from 200 milliseconds to about 500, which is looking very big of a gain each lap.
And obviously, with the energy store not being a thing for the LMP2s, it is kind of useless information. Saying they have 90% energy left, but in reality, they just pit whenever they need fuel, which still should be within a similar enough range to the GT cars. So we're not really getting any information out of that energy graphic at the moment for those. Whereas with the GT cars, we definitely do, and them sitting around 60% means we are now approaching roughly the 40% mark of the stint. Might hit the lift and coast period though, now that we're out of the opening laps.
Definitely. With these graphics as well, it's quite unfortunate really. We don't get a sign of what their fuel is, which would be really lush right about now, because each driver will probably go for a similar strategy, but some might go for an undercut. I mean, John last race went for a severe undercut, trying to get past anyone, including the LMP2 of Michael, who runs this series. But it's one of those where, at the moment, the gap that Willow is trying to crush down is happening. And it's happening in the right places, to be honest. Each apex they take, they gain at least a little bit of time coming into each corner on Enzo. Meanwhile, talking about our leader here, Borna, has just cooked the most amazing Sector 1 so far and is seeming so fast. Done a 135, well, I say 130.5 compared to... Oh, he's had a spin!
What?
Oh, never mind!
Cast the curse! This man has cast the curse, that race leader who will spin out on the off-camber corner and drop down to P number 3 after absolutely flying, which will really spice up this race because the pace that they had, they will be now on completely flat spotted out tyres. So they're going to have to try and find pace on a tyre that's going to be really awkward to drive on, but clearly has the pace to still contend and will charge down Harry's and Enzo.
Definitely. I mean, what a crazy turn of events. Commentator's curse, I do apologise, Borna. But it's looking like as well, if we're watching the fight up ahead as well, Willow may make the pass on Enzo, but if it turns out to be a scrap and a half, what might happen is it will pull Borna back into the race again, and pretty much kill that gap. But talking about Border's lap times, before I rudely interrupted their race, pretty much was a 1.5 seconds quicker than both LMP2 drivers, which is a very big gap to pull. As we're seeing a move currently trying to be pulled here by Willow, trying to go around the outside. Oh, goes on the inside. Enzo has missed the braking point. Oh. But gets through the little gap.
That one is legitimate as well. That one's not a DC.
Oh, no.
How are you doing this? What powers do you have?
I don't know. I need to stop talking. Oh, no. Meanwhile, we see Border here gained 0.5 seconds on Harris here, just trying to keep that lap alive and well. It's looking pretty good here. However, can Enzo make that time back? Judging from Sector 1 times, maybe. But judging from Sector 2 in the last couple laps, it may be kind of tight for Enzo, unless Willow defends like a lion. We'll have to see a Fernando Alonso level of defense from the minister themselves.
Minister of Defense.
Oh yeah,
That's
sorry,
some
Perez.
high praise.
Sorry, I was thinking of Hungary 2021.
Fernando Alonso, Hungary. That's some
Hungary?
juicy defense. Perez was Abu Dhabi.
No, Alonso defended for Ocon, who won Hungary.
Yeah, in Hungary, yeah. Perez was Abu Dhabi.
Perez was better. Okay.
No, Alonso was better.
Okay, put that aside. We're seeing some passes on some GT3 cars as Borna here is gaining drastically on Willow. Gained at least 0.5 seconds here in this battle. Let's have a look at the stats, shall we? Did a 1:30 again in the last lap, comparative to Willow's 1:31.7. Meaning they've actually gained more than 0.5 seconds in this lap, which means there's going to be a good scrap happening in probably a lap's time. I mean, they're already up for the slipstream here for Willow, so hopefully they'll gain that time back and basically make do with what they have. I mean, talking behind real quick, I'll just quickly swap to them just to show you what's going on here. John is 15 seconds to 16 seconds gapped. Which is quite unfortunate. Yeah, I don't want to jinx another driver considering they're already 16 seconds down. But pretty much Baxter's gained almost a lap on them.
I mean, if you kill Baxter, we might have a race on our hands, but that's...
Yeah, I mean, Baxter, don't spin it. Oh, Lord. But yeah, this is where the race, I think, will chill out unless... Borna just throws the maddest move down Willow, or we see some mighty defenses. As we see Baxter ahead, which may actually cause a bit of a scrap here for Borna. We'll see.
Depends where they catch the car, depends if they can get past, but we're just seeing in the braking zone, oh my god, the confidence in the brakes coming up from Borna and catching so much, and Harry's gets blocked on exit. Obviously the rule is that the GT cars have to just be predictable. It's not like F1 where blocking like that will get you a penalty, and then so just misreading where the GT is going to go, Harry's loses out multiple tenths of a second. That's just going to bring Bonner back in to play as we hit the start finish straight. They're now tucked in close enough for the slipstream effect, and that's going to really give a good opportunity, potentially a lap earlier than what we would have expected, but a good exit from Harry's and potentially a good straight line setup, currently keeping that LMP2 at bay.
Definitely. I mean, we're seeing a good play from Harris here. Unfortunate about the GT3 blocking in that corner. It wasn't intentional by any means. It was just that they didn't move to the inside rather than the outside. But Harris has set pretty much the same sectors there as Bora, because I think what's happened with Borna is they've pretty much slowed down in anticipation for Harris to also slow down from that GT3. So now this is where they'll attack. I mean, there was a little bit of a track cut there, and I've just seen it on the telemetry, but it's fine. They're trying to gain and they're trying to pass, and they're gaining very fast, as we can see here. Coming through this right-hander is just trying to keep in that toe of Harris the whole way around the track as possible. And like you said, the braking zone, look at the difference there coming into that turn. He's also going very much slightly less lock than Harris from what I can see here on telemetry, but he's looking very good to say the least. Are they going to make a move here? Ooh, maybe. They're debating it through some interesting turns, but to be honest, that front back straight's going to be the place to be, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, Harry's just takes the really wide line to try and get the switchback effect, potentially accepting the fact that they was going to have a bit of a worse line and trying to slingshot it, but this ADEC sport car completely out-dragging in a straight line, so we're going to see Harry's tucked back in that slipstream, and then with the ADEC, it's going to go far to the right-hand side, claim the inside line, and then block in Harry's to this outside line. But with the switchback opportunity potentially opening up, not quite, if you're going to be that wide on the corner. And that is a P1 reclaimed. That's their mistake.
Very good play there. Going into the corner, deep into the right-hander, just trying to break the toe as well with that one move they're allowed to make. And just did it perfectly, really, defending that corner. There was not much there Harris could have done other than maybe sit in the toe and kind of give up T1. But to be honest, it's just a very good pass from Borna. So let's have a look here at what's going on behind, shall we? Talking about cars that can be pulled back into the fight here, if Harris does keep around the second to Borna, this might actually allow Enzo to gain, as Enzo did go quicker than both of them there, but that might be down to the fact that Harris is trying to just go quicker and is almost overdriving the car. But we'll wait and see, to be honest. There is quite a bit of lag going on there from Enzo though. But Harris now has to find that time they're missing, which is going to be the big step. And from the looks of it, it seems to mostly be Sector 3. So it's actually the last bit of the lap. So we will see Enzo not really get into this fight, but we will see Harris try to tow Borna for at least 2 or 3 laps.
How much energy is the GT cars on?
Should we have a look, shall we? Thank you for calling out my graphic earlier, by the way. I fully forgot that I have control over that. Oh my
positions.
Lord.
Okay, they're about 30%, so they're going to be pitting around 45 to 50 minutes, depending on how much they can extend it over this last little bit of the stint, only in the last final third now. Baxter able to save a little bit extra in terms of percentage, but obviously being further around the lap means it's a little bit more than that in overall, but it's not enough to save an extra lap at the moment, I don't think.
No, definitely not. However, you never know with John. John likes the early pit stops and likes to play a bit of a game with the people in front of him. But again, the gap being nearly 17 seconds, coming up to 18 for John, it would have to be a miracle of a pit
stop. I bet you could do 18 laps yet.
Yeah, good point. So yeah, this might be a bit dense. They've done 12 laps so far, meaning the field's only been rounded once. So yeah, John would really need a miracle here, i.e. some LMP2s.
Seconds a lap on average.
I mean, if the LMP2s get a bit toasty, they might. They might. We're just seeing some decent laps so far, though, being put in here, as we kind of just quickly have a look at the sector times. Borna just slowing down in Sector 1, obviously just trying to make time, but has gained that time back in that last sector, like I was talking about earlier. However, let's talk about Harris for a second. Harris also did just do a brilliant lap. Looking at a 1:31.1, which is almost close to what Borna just did with a 1:31.2. Now, if Borna's lost that pace they had earlier with that 1:30 pace, that actually could be good for Harris and, as such, Willow in this instance. But if we're seeing Enzo in the back, I wouldn't want to be Enzo at all, being almost 200 slower in Sector 1 alone. So hopefully we'll actually see Willow gain a bit of time here, if they're lucky with Borna not doing as hot of Sector 1 and Sector 2s as...
Oh, supposedly, if the gap... I don't think the gap is correct, because for some reason Baxter's gap is the same gap as it is to Enzo. That is really weird to look at.
That's very buggy. I think it's taking its time to calculate which one I'm on, so that might be the main reason. There we go. Yeah,
I don't think they're that close. I think they've been lapped already. But going back to it, 20 seconds of the gap in GTs now, unfortunately. There's a little bit of a landslide here for Baxter in that Aston Martin. And having a pretty solid season here for themselves. New to this season as well. They weren't here last year. So it's nice to see them actually consistently show up, even if the field of cars is so small, unfortunately. But as we're saying, that energy, that's probably about 2 to 3 laps left, depending on how it flows. I don't know the exact energy percentages here at Fuji. I'm sorry, I am a failure of a motorsport fan.
I mean, the energy is coming down to the end almost. Usually with these LMPs and GTs, they kind of go around the 10%-ish. John pushed it last week and went for like almost nil, and I was very surprised to say the least. But it's not worth it at this point. For John, his goal needs to be pit and basically spritz and almost try to pray that Baxter makes a mistake coming out of the pits. I mean, the LMPs, I don't think they're going to have an issue in regards to this. None of them have an overtly major spin that's caused them to have to pit early or anything, or do anything like that. So, to be honest, I think this is going to be kind of the grid for now, unless Harris starts picking up pace, which they are, actually. They've done a 32.8 compared to Borner's 32.4, which does mean they're 400s down, but then gained 400s in Sector 2. So they are actually matching Borner at the current moment. It's that Sector 3 that will make a massive difference.
As we actually see the LMP2 car heading for the pit lane. Harris is going to extend 1 extra lap compared to that EDEX Sport car. Potentially saving a bit more fuel across the stint potentially could lead to some of that lap time. And Enzo also going out 1 extra lap as well. As long as they make it to the pit stop without issues, maybe they are trying to just extend that a little bit. And we've also seen some strategies in terms of tyres. Usually what we will see is teams will decide to take 1 set of tyres in one of the pit stops. So that will either be this first one, or it will be that second one. Typically, I think it's been faster to take it in the first, so that you don't have to do 2 full stint lengths on a set of tyres, because that final stint is always just at least a little bit shorter.
Definitely. From what I can tell of the tyres, it's going to be another medium set, unless it's taking a hot minute for
I think it's only mediums.
Yeah, so that might just be it then. But on that front, it's just a matter now of when will Harris pit. I mean, Harris has just done a 32.5, a 24.7, so they're slightly quicker. They're getting quicker. And so is Enzo, interestingly. And Borner is now looking to almost get sorted in the pits now. Is on exits now, so should be coming out the pits. Yep. And so it's a matter of time now until Harris comes around that back straight. To be honest, I don't think they're close enough to make that massive difference. And I'm quite surprised they're staying out again for another lap. But we'll see what happens. It's quite an interesting play, to say the least.
Yeah, if they're extending multiple laps, this potentially could save them time in the pit stops. It won't really affect this next lap, this current pit stop. It will affect that later pit stop that I have to fuel just as much.
Definitely. I mean, there could be a funny here, and they try to lap Borner here just to make that difference. Or Borner's going to slow him down maybe, but no, it seems very gracious, seems very good. Good racing all around. Meanwhile, as we're talking, Enzo's actually gone in the pits, and so has John, meaning they're raring to go now, and hopefully Enzo believes they can at least get one of the LMP2s. But judging from Harris's pace and judging from Border's, they both may actually pass Enzo on the pit straight. So that's something you don't want to see. Ooh, Borner gone off, missed the braking there, allowing Harris to lap them, meaning does Harris go for that pit stop now or tries to extend it even further to see if they can get the lead? It's fully up to them at this point. They can do whatever at this point and see what happens. To be honest, extending is a very risky move, because if your lap times aren't quicker each lap, or at least the same consistency of quickness, it's not going to help you. Which we do see Harris pull to the right here. Will they go for the pit stop? Yes, they... So... that does mean, that does mean Enzo will be coming out the pit lane. So we've got one for the other. Interestingly, let's just talk about Enzo coming out the pit lane here. It's not overtly close, but it's close enough. he actually is almost close enough, as Borno does go into T1 here, and Enzo is just behind, which actually takes the gap down quite a bit. Doesn't actually make a huge difference, but also not a bad difference, to say the least. Going from, I believe, 3.8 to 2.8 is not a bad extension game there from Enzo. Oh, never mind, the gap has gone straight back up. I tell a lie.
That's the one with the tyres, if they've switched tyres.
Yeah. Maybe that gap was short-lived.
Did they switch tyres? Does your graphics say?
No, they have not.
Oh, so just skill issue on outlap, I suppose.
Yeah, unfortunately so. As we see Baxter coming out the pits, John has still got 37 seconds, 36, 35, 34. Yeah, this is not going to be it for John. This is a bit of a hopium angle here, mate. I'm sorry. Rip John. That's unfortunate for John. I mean, that's a massive gap to take as well coming into this. I would not be happy with how that's gone. But fair enough to Baxter, plays it safe, gets the pit. Does swap tyres, tell a lie. So just takes it really carefully and just tries their best. Meanwhile, we're seeing here, Harris is coming out the pits and Borno is coming down the back straight. Can Harris keep the lead here? Looks like they might. And they have.
But did they take tyres?
No.
No. Is the ITEC on new tyres? I forget.
I think so, yeah. So,
good luck, Harris.
Yeah, Harris taking a very quick pit stop to keep a massive gap compared to Borna, which was 11 seconds because Borna also made a mistake when Harris.
But that means they're going to take tyres in the next, and tyre stops are longer.
Unless a miracle occurs. I mean, commentators
no tyre change.
Yeah, I mean,
good luck on your pace.
It'd be quite. I'd rate it honestly. Here we go. Here we go. Are we gonna see a John B special fighting the LMP2s? I mean, it was a running gag between me and Mel. Depressing. John, you let me down. But either way, Enzo gets.
That. Oh.
It would be nice. I mean, Enzo gets a nice P3. I think
everyone gets a podium today.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, no one loses out today. But as we're seeing here, Borno...
There's no losers, there's just better winners.
Yeah. I mean, Borno has just set a 1:33.2, which is quite strange considering they've been out for a good couple laps now. Whereas Willow/Harris...
That makes sense.
Yeah. Whereas Willow/Harris... what happened to Harris? What?
Pit stop.
Oh, yeah. I forgot it was the same lap. Bro, it's been going on for too long.
There's 44 minutes left, mate. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. I mean, what did me and Raul talk about last time? We started talking about different car types, how John was going to fight everyone.
Are you trying to say that John's going to throw fists?
No, John's going to throw his GT3 is what we were saying. But anyhow, Kieran, do you want to commentate a beautiful lap of Harris's here?
Well, we're halfway through a lap, mate. Like, what?
I
okay.
mean, we could go to someone who's got a better lap. Where's Enzo? There's Enzo. No, we'll see where they get to. But I'll be back.
Oh, okay, that's why. I see how I'm being stranded here. Okay.
Well, have fun.
Well, as we go on board with Harry's here in the pure racing LMP2 car, the number 37, one of the strongest cars we've ever seen in the LMP2 category, we will be starting a flying lap. Coming out this back end corner, the energy bar completely useless. Ignore that one in these LMP2 cars. We do see a little bit of lap traffic in the distance that may affect this lap as well. Getting on throttle, seeing that green bar fill all the way up, hitting the speed in gear no. Gear 5 into Gear 6, hitting the top end of these cars are in about 292 kilometers an hour, hitting down the brakes down to about 70 kilometers an hour, accelerating it back out, trying not to catch that back end, easing off that brake and putting on the throttle once again. It's going to be a lot quicker through this corner, about the 50 board, only well, maybe in between, cresting at 165 kilometers an hour, and then never dropping below 200 for the entirety of this this if you're with confidence, but with that heavy fuel dropping down to 197 kilometers an hour, down into first gear, get those revs high, accelerating back out the corner. You got to be careful though on the throttle down in that gear number 1. It's a lot more twitchy on that rear end as we come into the chicane. That GT car will be in our vision very, very much so. And that ADEX Sport car has caught up so much now in our rear view mirror as well. It's all getting a little bit hairy for Harry's now. Traffic in front, competition behind on fresher, newer tires, climbing over that curb as we're hitting gear number 1 again at about 90 kilometers an hour for that left-hand turn. And we're going to take the wide line around this GT car and get on by, but we are going to be hampered on our exit speed, not able to take the corner as tightly as we like, and going to lose some time to that EDEX Sport as they are going to be able to pass on the straight instead. And is that a producer back with the camera change? No? Okay, well, seems like I'm still here by myself. This IDEX Sport car catching up on the braking zone once again.
I turned my mic off. I'm back. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm not alone. Yippee!
Real. I mean, yeah, I just caught that little bit of a catch-up there. Going wide round Baxter, very brave to say the least. I mean, you could have took the inside and had a shorter line, but to be honest, if Willow wants to try to put a car between themselves and Borna, that's probably the best thing to do, in my opinion.
I mean, you got to keep the exit speed. You can't really take it that tight.
No, definitely. You want to keep it going. Unfortunately, though, Borna did have an easier pass and an easier time getting round. That's just down to the
and a new fastest lap.
Yep, and a new fastest lap. Let's just add that to the cycle of things that could go wrong.
Meanwhile, 1:32.4, 2 seconds and a 10th.
Yeah, I do wish we had a sector cycle to show you guys. But it does say here that Borna did do a 32.4, so did Harris. And Harris has just beat Borna by 300ths in Sector 2. Meaning that Borna's actually got some paces cut out for them. Meaning they have to gain quite a bit, coming up to 1.8 seconds in time.
Do you have any highlight package? Oh my! That is not the right way around.
Oh yeah.
What? Oh, it's because you switched to Enzo. I was going to say.
Yeah. I was looking around.
Harry sets a new fastest lap for themselves, 1:36. That's a very good lap coming out of Harry's. Only 3/10 off of the back. Of the back?
The back of Borna. Looking at the lap time comparison here, I think Willow has found a good settlement of a lap. If they can keep doing that consistently, realistically, Borno should only gain about 200ths a lap at their peak, allowing them to have a bit of a scrap. Yeah, possibly. Maybe a little bit of wing, maybe a little bit of push. I mean, they did go for the tyres, but I mean, if they believe they can hold it, they can hold it.
Obviously, setup changes limited in the race compared to outside, but always still possible in endurance racing to make some decent setup changes. Wing angle, compression, toe angle. You can do a little bit of changes, not a lot, but you can also do some stuff in the car on the fly, constantly adjusting throughout the race. You hear it a little bit, but I think the place where you hear it the most sometimes is actually at the Indy 500, unironically. When you're going through the corners there, you're constantly hearing every single time they're doing an onboard broadcast. They're going, the driver's switching modes into this for this corner. I don't know the exact modes though. I kind of like tune in and watch. And so we actually see a trade of fastest laps. Harry's is finding so much more pace, which is forcing this secondary LMP2 car to really dig deep and push their fastest laps even further. Harry's able to squeak just barely the old fastest lap, but it's not enough to keep this gap down by another 10th this time around. That's extending it last lap. Now we're having to really keep this charge on, but it's a good set of form from Harry's, potentially quick enough to actually put up a defensive effort this time around.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, it's going to be that 200ths. I mean, they've got about coming up to 37 minutes, which is a long time for Borna to line up a move. But if Harris can keep this pace up, if Borna makes even one little mistake, that can actually be big for Harris in this race to keep the lead. It's consistency over speed at this point. While Borna does officially have the fastest lap and is gaining by only 100ths of a lap, Harris is now finding that consistency, finding that flow state, and seemingly is doing all right in the sectors so far. A little bit off pace for sure, but nothing too crazy that will make a massive difference in this fight for a good chunk of this race.
See, flow state being a huge thing and a hugely important factor to how well some drivers drive, as I well and truly know myself when it comes to karting. I need to be able to just put in a few laps to really get the handle of the car, but this time I'm seeing a little bit of a drop in pace, not able to set the same blistering lap times, but still in that 1:30s, really leaving Enzo absolutely in the dust, 21 seconds behind, completely set in a different category at the moment.
It's only 200, which is quite nice. But looking at that last lap, Willow did actually beat Borna there by a little bit. Oh no, tell a lie. My telemetry is lying. It was only a 150 millisecond difference between the two. Again, 200-ish. It's looking like that's going to be the case. However, the gap has just been gained, meaning that Willow has just found time on Borna, which could make a big difference. But again, is losing it in that braking zone for a temporary moment and then regaining it back. So I think there's a massive difference here in how they must be braking compared to each other. And I think that's probably the element of where they're looking to beat each other at. I hope neither of them are looking at stream and hoping that my advice is right, but the way to beat the other is to take on how they're braking. It does look like Harris has got a better entry speed coming out, and Borna's very much harsher on the brakes and later, which is slowing their entry speed and outspeed.
How much can we flame the drivers 101?
I mean, you never know. It is very much coming down to that indifference now. Looking at the laps coming in, Willow has just set a 130.4. Borna actually invalidated at some point in that lap, meaning they're actually overdriving the car just that tiny little bit in some area. Actually losing a good chunk of that gap they did gain. So this is looking actually pretty good for Willow, again, if they can keep this form.
And that is the question. That will actually be a question here for us. Will Willow be able to keep this form? Because this is a new level of pace Willow has started to bring out here at this part of the race. Unable to achieve these kind of times in qualifying, unable to achieve these kind of times in the first stint of the race. So really, I do think potentially there's some setup change, but compared to last lap, Borna's gained a huge amount coming into this braking zone. It's 1.9 last time around, 1.3. Harry's getting a twitch on the exit of the corner as well, and that is now down to just above 1 second. A really, really nice lap, and a huge contrast in pace this lap around.
Definitely. I mean, Borna's just found a good bit of time there. Concerningly quick, however. It does look like it was predominantly in Sector 2 with a 150 millisecond gain, mostly coming into a braking zone from the looks of the telemetry on my left. But let's talk about Harris for a second. Harris is keeping this in the 130 margin now, hitting a 130.6 compared to Borna's 130.2, which is a lot of time gain now. But is still keeping it in that margin we never saw Harris in the first place, meaning I think they've just found their groove now. But it's now a matter of, again, optimizing where Borna does make those mistakes. And just talking about Borna for a second, they joined last minute and came with pace, meaning I've got to assume they've had to have practiced in some degree. If they haven't, fair enough to them, chuff to them. But brilliant times coming out of Borna here. Just trying to chase down Harris the best they can. I mean, we can see it in the cockpit. There's a lot of smooth driving, but also keeping within the same driving line, just to see if they can hook onto anything. As we see here, I believe Harris coming up on some lap traffic here with John Biner, which may make a big difference here coming into the last turn. Ooh, it's going to be close. Oh, goes around the outside. Does Borna get an easier time? No, they do not. So this doesn't really make a big difference. I'll tell a lie, it actually makes a very big difference. Borna does end up losing 700 milliseconds to Willow, coming up to 800, coming up to 900, nearly a second in time. That's a crazy loss.
I was gonna say you said 700. You said 700 something in a second.
Yeah, that was my bad. 100. I got so lost because I saw the gap just going up and up and up. It shocked me. But yeah, this is actually really good news for Willow. Even if they gain 200 milliseconds a lap, I know Kieran's gonna like scrutinize me if I say 200 seconds.
You get scrutinized anyway, I think.
Yeah, but this might actually be very winnable for Willow, looking at this now.
Well, Willow still has 31 minutes to go. Let's not jump any guns real quick.
Again, it's the consistency though. They have kept it consistent. The only lap they didn't hit a 30 after this pit stop is the lap they had to pass John, which I don't know what that says about passing John, but otherwise
John
they
put
have
up an absolute stunned defense, eh?
Yeah, like the minister of defense against the car class he should be defending against. No, he's actually
Minister
doing
of Terrorism, I think.
I mean, definitely. But we're seeing a good couple of laps being put in here by Willow. And to be honest, I think this has been the most impressive bit of the race so far. Getting that pit stop, going ahead of Borna, and reclaiming first for this stint has been pretty clean to watch so far.
Yeah, and unfortunately on the back end of that's left Enzo down 24 seconds in this one. Not on the same page now, but Harry's has really opened up and setting nearly identical lap times at this point are the top two.
Lord.
Split by 300ths of a second and 2000ths. That is very good margins.
Definitely. I mean, again, it's just keeping it the same. If you can keep this the same, you will win. If you can't, that's where it bites. And again, we're talking about tyres. As far as I'm aware, Willow didn't take new tyres, which may come to bite them later in this race.
I mean, it'll be good for their pace later.
Yeah, I mean, for Borna as well. Oh,
not again!
You know what's interesting about this? It's never us.
I blame you.
Thanks, Kieran. Appreciate it.
I know you just said it's not us, but I'll blame you either way.
So I've actually still got telemetry, which is quite interesting. Oh, there we go. We're back. Very strange. Apologies for the technical issues there.
So much happened, really.
Yeah. Borna sent a giant slide off one of the corners and found a hill and thought it was really cool and decided to like pile drive Harris into a wall. No, that didn't happen. But
sounds like that's what you wanted to happen.
I mean, it'd be very funny. But coming out of the final corner here, we do see that gap just staying pretty much the same. I mean, they've both done laps, and again, both coming around that same area of a 30.7 there. I'm actually feeling pretty confident Willow, again, keeping the consistency, cross my fingers, no commentator curse, will hold this. What do you think, Kieran?
I'm feeling a commentator curse.
You never know.
You never know, but I should hope not. Knowing you.
Oh,
and
what are you
your
trying
magic that. Did you see the magic you conducted earlier in this race?
We don't talk about that.
That was all you, mate. Not on these drivers. No, I can never be on these drivers. That's all you.
I mean, yeah. But anyhow, looking at this race so far, it's slowly chilling out other than these two who are slightly scaring me. Because I feel like anytime we go to talk about anything else, something happens. So we'll have a quick glance over at how everything else is doing. I mean, currently at the moment, we've got John with 38% energy. I don't believe they need another pit stop, but if they do, that will be coming probably in at least 15 minutes, maybe 20. Baxter actually looking slightly worse for wear. Actually, no, looking better. 36% over John's 29. Meaning Baxter's kind of just taking it nice and calm. I mean, their best lap is a 40.9 and their last lap was a 41.3. As we see here, Harris trying to get past the Baxter. Let's see what happens here then, shall we? does get a nice clean move, getting back to the right of the track and cutting back in. Oh, goes wide and then DCs.
Well, I think it's more of a you issue this time.
I don't know anymore because the stream is running actually like fine. Oh, there we go. We're back again. Strange. But looking at this here, Harris did get that pass and made it quite easy. It also does look like Borna made the exact same pass pretty cleanly as well. Only losing about 200s? No, actually regaining it.
Is staying the same or building consistently now in favour of Harry's, up to 3.2 seconds out of nowhere. Potentially another mistake
Where
coming
has
on
that
out.
come from? Should we have a look at Borna? Looks okay. Very straight.
I wish damage was a little bit more like of at play, but I'm glad no one's had an absolutely destroyed car ruining their race at the same time, you know?
I mean, talking about that gap or maybe mistake we may have missed, Borna did do a 131.045, whereas Harris did do a 130.7. Again, showing that level of consistency. You might be right here. Willow has found a level of change in that car compared to the first half of this race, for sure.
Yeah, you don't just randomly find this much improvement. This is impressive to find this much of a change around.
Yeah, and again, that pit stop from earlier salvaged something out here. We've still got 25 minutes, so I mean, we've got a 3.3 second gap. We've got time. So, Kieran, tell me your favourite team sport track.
Why would you jump off the go-karting?
I mean, yeah, we're talking about racing. We may as well. I mean, have you seen what, like, 24-hour commentators do? Oh, my lord.
The crack pizza. Crack pizza? No, it was cake. It was cake. It was
cake. It was cake.
At 2 a.m., what do you do when you're bored?
No comment.
Obviously crack. If you listen to Le Mans last year.
Yeah, it was an insane comment that I shall not repeat for my professionalism. But
yeah, I'm just willing to say it.
You're just willing to say it.
GG's my career, I suppose. But
when it comes to karting, though, and talking about racing, I mean, we do the awards day with BUSR, and we did have a lot of fun with that. I think you were the leading party on that, wasn't you? For those sessions.
A chance.
A chance.
A chance by a margin, perchance. One of the three Hughes brothers was decently on pace with me, but if you want to see how the Hughes brothers are doing, they compete out in F1 and AC. They did sign up to this championship, but they ain't here. So
just call them out. How dare you not come here, Hughes? We know you. We know you're not here. But oh, that just threw me. That
yeah, they race as a team all together out in AC as well, but they're not teammates in F1, surprisingly.
Why would they be?
Fair point. But I'm not sure. How is it going for them out in AC?
As far as I'm aware, all right. Not the best they've ever done, but also not the worst. They're kind of in the middle pack at the moment, and that's kind of a given considering how many drivers are overtly paced right now, or are finding that there's a lot more competition. I mean, AC has packed up with, I want to say 30 drivers, somewhere in the neighborhood of that. With some drivers even being real-life drivers. We got a McLaren development driver, Jack Noller. We got Adam Sparrow. We did have Luke Sawyer for a little bit, similar to LMU. We don't know where he went. I think he's doing MX5 at the moment. So pretty much, it's a very stacked grid. We've also got Josh Woolley, Aiden Larson, Jordan Pinnock doing brilliantly with their pace and finding the early setup chances early in the series. So I mean, it's been pretty solid so far for AC. But for the Hughes brothers, they're kind of in the middle of all that, which is good and bad for them at the same time.
Yeah, doing MX5s and losing is crazy, by the way.
Yeah, we call out Sawyer. Where is he at? No, they'll be here at some point. I'm assuming Luke's quite busy with the real life racing, and I respect that as a level. Plus, also Luke did compete in SRL as well, Williams. So Luke is kind of he's trying to win everything at the same time. So I will give him
I
the
don't think
benefit of
that's
the doubt.
possible.
No. Unless he pulls a mad baller over everyone's eyes in LMU once he's finished up in real life. It'll be very surprising if so. I believe Luke's done AC? I might be wrong. No, it's F1, wasn't it? I haven't a clue. Yeah, F1. So on that front then, they just have to be AC and LMU. It's got my brain's fried now. But pretty much, yeah, if Luke wants that triple header in BUSR, that's the task he's got to uphold. He's got half a season in each to do so. So we never know. We might see him pull a Mad Hatter trick and just throw it out in the meantime.
Got a long way to go and a very fierce competition as well. So
Definitely
not going to be an easy feat as we see pit stops with 21 minutes left in the race. This will take them to the end and take them to the end very, very cleanly unless they underfuel the cars, which
big thing
last season.
Borna has lost a lot of time there, losing out to Enzo, interestingly, who's also peeling into the pits. I believe Borna may have just had a spin because that last lap was a 1:36.4 and then it's just bit to save the day. So I think Borna's had a bit of a mare coming into that, but it looks like Enzo's going to try to get the pit stop, but is waiting. Oh no, isn't waiting, just hovering back into the pits as John comes out the pits himself. It does mean Harris will probably beat Enzo out the pits unless there's a non-tyre swap situation where they do hold out. Yep, I was correct. And when it comes to Borna, they're coming round, I believe, the final corner soon. No, they are not. I always get that one corner confused. But either way, Willow's done an amazing job there, gaining a lot of time on Borna with that mistake coming in there. Hopefully we'll see them. I don't know. I believe Borna just had a late spin.
I think it says if they change tyres eventually.
It looks to me like they haven't changed tyres. Oh. Was it a splash and dash? Splash and dash? Must be.
No tyres all race long? Or did they do tyres last time?
No. Yeah. Splash and dash, no tyres. That may be a bug on our end. I would be very surprised. As we see Borna overtake Enzo coming out of the pits. I don't know what's happened there because I don't recall Borna going round. But yeah, that seems to be the play so far. As we see here, Willow has a 13.6 second gap to Borna, which is massive compared to what we were seeing earlier. And again, that consistency, it's winning Willow this race, in my opinion.
And the gap to Enzo is only 20 seconds, so that's come down.
Definitely.
But that's still a large gap. Large gap. Especially considering the pace is in favour of that.
Yeah, I mean,
time P number 2.
32 seconds to lead is insane. That does mean essentially Enzo is kind of just in their own world for now. Unless Borna does have another slip up. As we see Baxter come into the pits, I believe just looking to get a quick fuel stop and then dip. As I can see the energy rising pretty much. Unless they're going for tyres. They might be going for tyres. We do see Willow pass.
Willow weaving, which suggests warming up tyres, though.
Yeah, interesting. Unless they're doing it because they're coming up to John and thought may as well get the extra heat in while I'm here. It's quite interesting because I don't see a change in tyres on this telemetry. But again, if Willow's changed tyres, I mean, perfect strategy to be completely honest. Has made an amazing gap at 9.8 seconds. It's going down, however, trying to pass John here. Going round the outside, taking the long line to try to gain some speed coming into the next corner. From the looks of it, yeah, I don't see a change in tyre, but we'll see with the pace. We'll assume with the pace. As Borna now has a 8.3, 8.2 second gap to Willow, but again, Borna's also got to pass John, and I assume that's coming up pretty soon. Or has passed John. Okay. That was very quick, if so.
No, I don't think so, looking at the map.
Oh, no, yeah, they haven't. John's just cooking, apparently.
Fit in your John Glaze where you can, I guess.
Yeah, we'll put the John Glaze in. I mean, we did poke him for the 60-second gap he's about to have to.
This gap came down to 7 seconds. Jesus.
Yeah.
This is going down very quickly and catches Binder at a very good spot. Binder stays out the way, losing no time at all passing Binder, and just gained 3 seconds on Harry's. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very crazy pass there. I could tell Harris got a little bit hung up with John, but I didn't think it was that big of a change. I mean, 6.8, 6.7. Oh god, it's going down quick. When it comes to that gain, it will mean that Warner's got a good chunk of work to do to gain back on Willow, which Willow's last lap due to that pass was a 1:33.7. Not the best stuff you want to see at this point in time, and you defo don't want to be doing that consistently, because do that at least 3 more times and that will become a problem. There is 15 minutes left of this race, so stay tuned. We'll see who wins. Will it be consistency or will it be Border's pace? Well, you never know. But yeah, going back, Kieran, what are you thinking so far?
16 seconds left. 5 drivers still on the track, which
seconds.
is the most.
Blind. Wait, seconds?
Minutes.
Oh, we've lost it. We've lost it.
5 drivers still left on track with 15 minutes 40 seconds or so. At least they're all alive. We've seen some commentator curses, which is absolute peak from you. Well done.
We're gonna clip it. It's fine.
You've got the commentating chops now. You've cursed someone. There you go.
Hey.
That's all it takes. That's your certification right there, is if you've cursed someone. So there you go. Well done. As we get low poly onboard angle.
I don't know why that's done that there. His screen's even turned off on the right. I don't know what's caused that.
Why is it so low poly?
I don't know. It's just suddenly decided I don't want to be optimized anymore. I mean, let's have a look in here. No, same here.
Yes. There's no more pit stops, no more fuel, no more strategy. It's just push, push, push. End of the race. Does Harry's have the pace to keep off Border? Or will this gap continue to close, as it is currently closing at a decent pace? But Harry's is slowly picking up the pace, but not able to replicate the same as what they was able to do in that middle stint at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, a 1:31.3 defo tells me something is up there. Again, could be that tyres we were on about earlier. Judging from what I know, that seems to be the case. But a second still is not a lot in the sense of not swapping tyres the entire round. So, I mean, take it as you will. But Borna has just set a 1:30.5, which is a lot of time gained. Again, that's now taken the gap down to a 5.3. Again, what, 14 minutes left? If they keep gaining this many seconds on Willow, this might tentatively be a last bit of scrap that they have. We'll see what happens here with Willow setting their lap now. That should be coming to a 1:30.5. That is a lot better. Do we see the same with Borna, however? Borna crossing the line now.
No lap time.
No lap time. Invalidated. Yeah, does say so on my side. Invalidated in sector 2.
Still gained, so better than a 1:30.5.
Yes, but maybe at risk of penalty.
It's something we might have to consider, but we haven't seen much so far. All these drivers have been very clean on the penalty side of things.
We did miss a big thing, unfortunately. Apparently, Enzo did have contact with John. I don't know if that will be a penalised moment.
Big
there.
wide bender again in that McLaren.
Yeah, I mean, where's Enzo at the moment and where's John?
Behind Binder again?
Yes, so this may be a scrap for the ages. We never know. We'll tune back into that as we see here. The gap.
Last time we saw an LMP2 overtake. This time we might see an LMP2 get killed.
We see the LMP2 kill, and that's a whole other kettle of fish.
Ooh, will the LMP2 be the killer? Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It won't show us the gap for the GT to LMP, as we see Baxter set a faster lap. Okay, that's new tyres for sure. But as we see here, Enzo Enzo just getting past John very comfortably. I don't know what happened earlier. There must have been a mistake coming round John at some point. We'll have to have a look at the replay afterwards, after the race, of course, and after the stream. But we'll see what happens. Oh, here we go. John getting past Enzo again. Breaks early. And gets past Enzo. Wait, what? Oh, my Lord. What in the world's going on here? John is
Either Enzo's having a little bit of fun with Binder, or is having issues of some sort.
Well, I think
that's 2 laps in a row.
Yep, I think Enzo's just got past John and isn't having fun. So I assume that was John actually having a bit of fun himself with the LMP2 of Enzo. So that's a very funny sight to see. John really making a record here of annoying the LMP2s. As we see Enzo weaving a little bit. So I don't know, maybe just Enzo's having a little bit
Binder weave a lot of it.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting.
How much of the track do we need to use?
All of it.
That's not enough. We need to use more.
Coming back to the first and second
Can we
holders.
use the wall?
Yeah, we can use the wall. Sure, let's do it. Yeah, John, go for it. If you're listening, go for it. But yeah, going back to first and second here, the gap is shortening by 200ths, but then it is getting regained coming out of that exit of the corner every time, meaning that the gap is actually staying at a steady 5.3, which is quite nice for Harry's going into this, as they set
and the telemetry is just not working for Bonner.
Oh yeah, good point. There we go. 130.7 for Harris, 130.3 for Bonner, which is very interesting to say the least, because that is a big chunk of time taking out of Harris. And there's only 10 minutes left, however, so you've got to make a lot more time than that to keep up with Harris.
5 attempts every minute. So.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. There might be a trick up their sleeve.
Well, more than that, that's just a catch. You need to actually, perform the overtake,
As we do say that, Bonner does take 200ths out of Harris in Sector 1. So,
whoa!
Yeah, we might have just jinxed this as Harris is trying to get past Baxter and gets a little slowed on the apex.
Oh, this is the worst
switchback gets slowed again on the apex. Oh no! Oh no! Oh!
Absolute masterful driving by Baxter, just keeping it on the racing line. And the LMP2 has nowhere to go until the corner opens up and loses a second of time or more.
Yes, in the Sector 2 countdown, it does look like Bonner took at least 200ths out of Harris there, but he's actually taken a lot more time out considering Sector 3 as well, which we will see in a minute. Let's see what the effects of that is coming into the lap time here. Going across the line, it is a 131.8 for Harris. Meanwhile, for Bonner, it's going to be a 131 basically flat. So it's not the quickest from Bonner, which they probably could have gone quicker, but that is a good chunk of change taken out of Harris. Down to a 3.8 to a 4-second gap. Hopefully we'll see a little bit of scrapping at the end, judging the back markers so far, but you never know.
There's still a bender on track halfway around this, about a quarter all the way around the circuit that they might be able to catch up to.
That's a good point.
Will be interesting. Will be interesting to see if they do catch up to Binder, the McLaren, or if it's going to be clean sailing to the end of the race for the battle for P1 in class and overall between Bonner and Harry's. Harry's currently leading the way in P number 1 by 3.5 attempts, losing about a second and a half last lap around, and being caught on average about 2 to 3 attempts every single lap. That 1 second being a huge game changer to see if Bonner can catch up, as currently the pace has not been good enough. But that's a huge tank slapper and a slide going through and going way over the curb as well. We've seen a few invalidated laps in this back end of the race as Bonner is pushing extremely hard. They know they need to at least try and get this race victory, but it's going to be a very difficult affair to try and catch Harry's in these dying stages.
Definitely. I mean, it looks like Bonner's just took a good chunk of time out of Harris, losing about 400ths in the first sector, 100ths in a second, and at least the same in the last sector. Pretty much, Bonner's just gained 400ths on Harris there, which is a huge chunk of change, and has also set the new fastest lap standard of a 1:30.079, nearly touching. Oh, yellow flag. Why have we got a yellow flag? Is Enzo off on track? Must have had a little bit of a spin. Nothing too crazy. Shouldn't have anyone to deal with other than John Binder, who is currently at least 4 corners away. So that's all fine. But going back for a second, the new standard lap of a 1:30.0 is crazy, because that means the next chance of a fast lap can, in theory, hit a 1:29, somewhere in the high 9s. So we'll see if Bonner can do that. Meanwhile, Harris has set a 1:30.4, which is still pretty decent to say the least, and still has 3.4 seconds away from Bonner. But we'll see.
At this point, I'm cheering for the sub 1:30 more than I am this overtake. I want to see it.
I'm cheering for a last lap fight. That would be the dream.
That'd be cool. But sub 1:30.
Yes. I mean, that would just be something to take home with you.
A bit of slipstream?
Definitely. Bonner has taken 400s out on Harris in the first sector. Has an illegal sector 2. So invalidated again. Yet gets fastest lap. Okay. Tell a lie.
Very similar lap time.
Yeah, 1:30.07, which again, pretty much the same. Is getting awfully close.
A second.
Yeah, my bad. But he's getting very
It hasn't even
close.
gained 100 on that one.
Yeah, my bad. I've just noticed. But as we're talking, John is having a nice chill time, which is also going to affect our race leader, Harris.
Oh, we have bottom. Oh, God. Oh, no.
You didn't think about this one, did you?
Binder, what are you going to do? Bind them together or absolutely scupper the chances of a catch-up? I think this is all going to be down to traffic now. With only 5 minutes left, I think this is traffic, do or die. If it goes your way, it's going to potentially give you the win, as Harris picks up the traffic in the middle of a corner again, and then it's going to go around the outside, which is going to lose them even more time, giving over more time to Bonner, who's going to catch them on the straight potentially here and get yet another easy overtake again, as Binder going wide is just going to make it that much easier. That gap's going to shrink even further due to traffic once again.
That's unfortunate for sure. I mean, it's very unlucky, and to be honest, for stewarding reasons, I would say for Harris to poke on that if he does end up losing this start of a first. But it's only 4 attempts, like you just said. Yeah, the it wasn't a massive loss, but it's still a big chunk of change when you think about it.
It's time that shouldn't have been lost.
No, definitely. And now the gap is at a 2.5, and we've got about 4 minutes. It's actually kind of feasible if Bonner can set a 1:30 flat multiple times and Harris makes 1 or 2 mistakes. So it's going to get down to the last hair, to be honest, all thanks to John.
Yeah, John has played feature in this race more times than not, being down in 5th, completely out of the GT phase, which is impressive to say. Well done, Binder.
He does make it light up a nice stream for us, doesn't it? Rather than us talking about random topics during the LMU series. So it does make it very interesting.
That's half the fun, though.
Yeah, it is half the fun, but then so is the scraps that we get to watch in the race, such as Harris losing about 200ths in 1 sector just now. May gain it back in the last bit, but it's looking kind of dire. Oh, tell a lie, has gained a good chunk of change back. Yeah. Ooh, that's an interesting change of pace. Let's see what the laps come out to be.
With 3 minutes left, we now need to get almost a second a lap. This is becoming difficult. That 5-tenth swing, that 6-tenth swing that we've just seen in this last lap, going in favour of Harry's rather than being 3 tenths tuck away, might be a heavily deciding factor here.
Interestingly, Bonner did say 1:30.2, which isn't their quickest, and Harris actually invalidated.
Harris was quicker than that 1:30.2, so that might have been a sub 30, just completely invalid sub 30.
Yes, definitely. Which, I mean, comparatively, compared to Bonner, it's worthwhile taking that risk. But for
if you
yourself,
have him on hand.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think that's why Bonner's slowed down, is they're probably in risk elements at the moment. Yellow flag again for Enzo. Temporarily, but very temporarily. Must have just gone slightly
Enzo's
off
nearly
track.
getting lapped here.
Definitely.
Luckily, probably won't be a factor as a whole sequence of corners ahead. But in Enzo's race, in the fight for P2, P1 at the start, and we've seen Harry's pick up the pace, and unfortunately, it's the demise of Enzo here.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, again, they're all podium winners at the end of the day. Baxter is actually trying to go for a faster lap as well. So, I mean, they're all having a little bit of fun in their own little way. Judging from the gap down this back straight, however, I do not feel that Bonner
A few too many car lengths.
Yeah. So, this might be cutthroat. I'm not going to try to
and
jinx
a
it.
30.31. That lap time's increased. That gap's increased again.
Yep. Oops, that is an unfortunate lap time for Bonner there. Looking at a 131 compared to a 130.6. So I mean,
just hope they fueled it correctly.
Yeah, Harris just has to get this home and fuels it correctly. It's all well ends well if they've done it right. On that note, however, I don't think there'll be any more catching of cars unless they somehow catch Baxter in the wrong place. But that would be very unfortunate if that was the case. So it's very unlikely. So hopefully Harris can just bring it home now in this last couple of laps. But anyhow, Kieran, what have you thought of this entire race? I mean, it's been a long stint, it's been a long day, but I think it's been pretty good to say the least. Yeah. Like, for 5 cars. It's just crazy.
Can't complain. But I wish there was more cars.
I mean, if you want to join the BUSR, that's always an option.
What, and be slower than Binder in an MP2 car? Yeah, no thanks.
No, or get impeded by Binder. That's always the option.
Just permanently impeded because I'm slower in the MP2 than he is in a GT.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes a good little challenge.
I did hop into a race last season as we have 18 seconds left across the line. That means we will have one more lap for the NMP2s. At bare minimum here. But I did jump into a race at Portugal where I was actually similarly on pace to Binder in the GT3 cars, I can't lie. And then I got wrecked by someone. And my race went downhill. No, it wasn't John. It was the person who no longer partakes in the championship this season. I can't remember the name for my life.
That's a brilliant little story. I do get it. But I think it's one of those where...
Has Baxter finished the race?
Good question. Let's have a look, shall we?
I think we should be riding on board with Baxter first. So.
Yeah, Baxter will be crossing the line very soon. Coming round what I believe is the final corner, just getting that car nice and straight, feeling comfortable. And well done to Baxter taking the win for the GT3s, beating the championship leader for GT3, I believe, John Binder. Brilliant stuff from Baxter, has played it brilliantly and has gained almost a lap and a bit on John. So just brilliant stuff all the way around.
Did they finish or do they have to do one more? I forget.
It looks like they're going for one more. We may have lied. I do apologise. Thank you.
I think it's +1 maybe.
Well, here we go. Hopefully we'll see a win here.
Is this? Okay, that one is. Okay, it's +1.
Harris takes it home for the win, and then comes Bonner for P2. Let's see where Enzo's at. Enzo coming round.
Enzo might be catching up to a bit of lap traffic here.
Will he hit a Binder?
I think it's a Baxter.
Oh, it is a Baxter. Oh, he'd be fine. Meanwhile, John's coming round the last couple of corners. Looking to finish quite comfortably, but we'll probably have to do another lap.
I like how that's a question now.
But
Enzo and Binder have not had fun together, it seems.
No. I do suspect there will be a single report facing towards that McLaren of Binder. I do wonder if it will tell Binder to finish now. We will see, as they are a lap down.
Another lap!
Yep, they finished a lap down. Which means Baxter will come round the corner to claim, as we already said earlier, the GT3 win. So congratulations to Baxter.
My bad, I forgot.
Amazing stuff. I mean, celebrate, but be careful of that LMP.
Oh my god.
But brilliant stuff from our
Calm
drivers.
down, Enzo.
Yeah, Enzo got a little worried there, flustered. But that means P1 to Harris, P2 to Mara, P3 to Enzo, P4 to Hayden Baxter, and P5 to John Binder. Brilliant stuff. Let's hop straight back into the cast, shall we? And let's talk about that. I've just realised I've hopped into the F1 cast. Oh, brilliant. Right, we're back.
That was certainly a result and a certainly transition from you.
Thank you.
So at the end of the day, Harry's Willow ends up winning, and now it's up to you. Do you want to do some interviews?
Yeah, we can do, by all means. Let's see who we can grab.
Do I just kidnap Willow?
Yeah, kidnap Willow. We don't want John.
Okay.
No, we do want John. I want John at some point.
Hello, how does it feel to be an LMP2 race winner at Mount Fuji?
Yeah, it's good. I'm happy with that race. That was one of the closer ones this season, but yeah, good fun. Good fun. Just very, very sweaty at the moment.
Where the hell did you find the extra pace going into stint 2? As you found quite a lot.
I don't know. It just appeared. I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, no, that was a welcome surprise.
Definitely.
And then in terms of tire strategy, did you the graphic is not the most trustworthy? So did you take tires at all?
I did. I took tires both stints.
Really?
I thought that. So when I came into the pits the first time, it was around 75% worst wear. I was thinking that surely at least fresh tires will get you that back even after enduring the cold tires. But I only stayed out because I realised after the first stint that the cold tires were so bad on the outlap. So I thought that it'd be worth it, and it paid off. So I can't really complain.
Yeah, staying out definitely worked well for you. You get quite a lot of time during that. Was that always a decision to try and go longer, or was that on the spur of the moment?
I kind of gathered it after the first stint, because the first stint I was fuel saving, but then I realised that if I split the race into 3 stints, I would only need 16 laps of fuel. And in the first stint, I was able to go longest 19 laps. And I think I came in lap 18 at the end. So I decided to go along in the first stint just to see what it would be like. And once I saw the overcut that the cold tyres were getting me, I thought that this was certainly the best way to go.
Crazy stuff. Well, thank you so much, Willow, for being here, and congratulations on your win, of course. I think that'll be a good chunk of points for yourself, won't it?
Yes, thank you.
Brilliant, Norris. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we bring in
Who else is there?
this one.
Hello, John.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the interview panel. I'll gladly take these questions. Query for you, John. Last week we talked a little bit about your lovely scrap with Mr. Michael. Now I have to ask, because we saw some celebratory data. I may be wrong. Did you accidentally have a bit of a scrap with a Enzo, perhaps?
It was unintentional, as I was going to say. I kind of lost the rear on the uphill left-hander.
Okay, so it's just a little bit.
There was
of a
not
scrap.
much I could have done, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Can we ask about the pace? Last week you were very consistent. This week I think there was a bit of a difference between you and Baxter. Can you tell me what may have changed there and how you're going to kind of improve on that?
Hayden is an esports level driver. That's the big difference.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just saying that you just want to flame. That's what I'm hearing.
It's not really a flame. It's true.
No, not
really
you.
cool.
Not you. I'm on about Joel
No,
over here trying to flame
it's
you.
good fun. No, it's all good enough. I mean, John, I hope to see you back on the podium. I mean, you claim a podium with this one, don't you, because of the driving number. So, I mean, it's good for your points. I believe you're still leading. I may be wrong on that.
I have no idea at this point. I'm
The
just
point
here for the
system
love
is
of the
not a
game.
standard point system, so I could not tell you myself.
Yeah, I want to say you're still leading. So, I mean, take that as you will. Again, it's good little points until more
Thank
drivers
you.
hop in. But
Oh, yeah.
with this next race coming in, what's your plan for the next race?
I'm not too sure what the next race is. I won't lie.
Get good.
But more
Okay.
practice, that's for sure. But there's no beating Hayden. He's pretty much unbeatable, I would say.
Well,
Monza. Look at the Monza.
Monza. Oh, yeah. No, you have a chance. You have a good chance there.
Oh boy, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be. Well, thank you so much, John, for taking the interview. Brilliant
No
to have
worries.
you, and hopefully we'll see some brilliant results from you coming next race. Thank you, man.
Hopefully so. In a bit.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, he's gone by himself. I
okay.
don't want to be moving you by accident.
No, all right. But yeah, I mean, it's been a brilliant race. I think it was quite entertaining, to say the least. And we had some good fun. I loved the little scraps. I liked the strategy there from Willow against Borna. I do wish we could have interviewed Borna because he came with the pace straight out the gate, didn't he? And I was so intrigued to see if he actually practiced prior or just winged it. But yeah, what's your thoughts, Kieran?
I think having a bigger grid would be absolutely lovely. But still, we're here every week, back on Wednesdays next week with no more World Cup action going on. And there's tomorrow we've got F1, and Mondays we have AC at the BUSR. But one last time, want to thank the sponsors of Grid Finder, Simply Race, and Traction. And any closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, did you say Grid Finder?
Grid Finder?
Grid Finder! We'll see you later next Wednesday. Thank you guys so much. See you in a bit.